just in here saying, it's not just the fact that you guys have clinched the number 1 seed, but the way that you all did it, the camaraderie, the way that you guys did it together. For each of you, just what stands out from the season to this point that you really want to carry over heading into the playoffs, just in terms of the way that you went about your business?
Yeah, just don't change. I don't think we'll have a problem with that at all. We all know what got us to this point, and just doubling down on that and keeping our heads down and trusting the work. And we got this far for a reason. Just don't veer off from it.
Shai, Shai, obviously you guys talk all year about this, AAU level vibe. You guys are now the youngest team ever to secure a number 1 seed. I just wonder, since you've been here since the beginning, what does that mean to you to kind of be at this point now where you guys are the face of youth and success combined?
I honestly, I don't ever really think about it like that. I always just take it day by day. I always focus on me getting better as a player, as a leader, as a teammate, and every day, every game day, it's about winning games for myself and for us, for sure. And I think because we've done so in that way, we're able to look up now and kind of be proud of where we're at, knowing there's a lot more work to do. But yeah, I never really thought about it in that perspective.
You talked just about past Thunder teams and just your appreciation for the history of the whole thing. You guys are I think the second Thunder team to ever get a number 1 seed. Just when you think of the success so far for this team, how do you frame that relative to the Thunder history? What does that mean to you?
It's dope. I think just me growing up and seeing it, and then I think time goes by faster and we realize now I'm kind of a part of it. I think that's really cool experience. I think just getting the 1 seed in general is a big deal. It just kind of shows our progress as an organization. So it's cool to be a part of that and something we don't take for granted.
Shai, you were part of the last playoff team in 20 and then the 22-24 seasons. What's it like to go from that 2 years later? You got 57 wins, your number 1 seed.
Yeah, it's super surreal. It's fun. Obviously, you play to win, and it's fun like that. But I think it goes back to us chipping away at it every day, and not worrying about the past or the future, and just chipping away and seeing where that gets us. And us taking that mentality has allowed us to get here. So yeah, it feels good, something to be proud about. We have a lot more work to do.
It's either one, Jalen, you get into this too. What do people miss when they say you're too young?
It's all relative. We kind of understand that that's what people are going to say. I think we've done a good job of just kind of blocking out the noise the whole season. It's not something that bothers us, but just kind of use that to our advantage as well. I think we've kind of proved we can play with anybody, and we're kind of ready for that challenge coming up.
Shai, you played all 82 games your rookie season, and you just saw Chet and Kaysen do the same thing. What does it take in terms of preparation and routine to be able to handle that your first time out?
It takes a lot of discipline, take care of your body, a lot of mental strength too. It's the first time you play 82 games, which is double what you play in college. So yeah, it takes a lot. Those guys are wired for it for sure. It doesn't surprise me. They've done a great job.
And then just a few moments ago, Mark said that there's no one else he'd rather have on this team kind of leading the way than you. What does it mean to play for a coach and an organization that has that much belief in you?
Yeah, it makes my job easy. Knowing that they have my back, they trust me, and it allows me to just go out there and be me. It's special.
Shai, it's a tight MVP race between you, Jokic, and Luka. I just wondered your thoughts and perspective just on your season and where you fit in that race.
Yeah, I hope I get it, yes. No, I think all the guys are deserving. All have their case. whatever happens, happens. But whoever gets it is deserving for sure.
And I was just wondering about your connection to the fan base. You've been signing for everybody before games, at home games all year. And I'm just curious about just your connection with Oklahoma City and the fan base and kind of what that time specifically means to you pregame.
Yeah, I just think they're there so early, watching me shoot around, doing nothing. And they've been great all year. I've done it for a couple years now, but they've been great through the thick and the thin. The least I could do is sign a few papers for some people before I get ready for the game.
Shai, I think most of us can wrap our heads around the idea of like the weight of scoring 30 a game for you and that sort of responsibility. You've talked about being a leader and sort of growing in that. I want to ask you, how have you grown as a leader, and then what's sort of like the responsibility that you seem to embrace of just like being the guy as the face of an organization?
Where I've grown, I guess I just kind of figured out, and you continue to figure out how to like interact with your teammates. Everyone has a different personality. You can get on some guys harder, some guys don't need it. And then as far as the face of the franchise, it's a responsibility. You're always being watched. You're a leader. Kids are watching you. Your coworkers are watching you. Your coaches are watching you. But at the end of the day, they put me in that position to just be myself, and because of that, I just be me every day, and it works out.
Chet was in here earlier talking about the celebration in the locker room, the picture, the shirts. So a moment of celebration. I'm curious if both of you could just talk about for you what's the cause for celebration in your mind today?
I think it's kind of been said, just being as young as we are and just kind of securing the 1 seed. I think just kind of taking the time to reflect on kind of a long season. The season goes by fast, and I think it's easy to kind of forget, the highs and lows of it. So it was a good celebration of just reflecting on, the good and the bad of the season, and then just trying to enjoy that, because obviously we're going to have to get back in that mode of trying to win games and just treating it like a whole new season. So just kind of reflecting and enjoying each other's presence for playing such a long season and being successful.
Is it safe to say, Shai, that yes, the 1 seed is great and all of that, but really it's the way you guys got here? Is that sort of, when you think about celebrating today, is that sort of what sticks out for you?
Yeah, it means a little more how we got here for sure. But at the end of the day, it's home court advantage for the first half of until the finals it would be. And that's always a plus, especially when your home court is like ours. So that's a big part of it.
I was actually going to ask the same about the celebration, but when Chet was asked about it, he unzipped his hoodie and showed us that sweet Northwest Division's champion T-shirt. I'm just wondering, why aren't you guys wearing your T-shirts?
This leather jacket costs a lot. I have 4 or 5 in my bag, though.
Anybody else? Okay, we got a couple more. Let's go to Joe, and then we got Andrew.
Yeah, Shai, does it make it more special in a way that you guys did this organically, building from within, building through the draft? I mean, I know when we talked to you, maybe it was during an exit interview a couple seasons ago, you talked about kind of trusting Sam's vision and the front office vision and how they were going to build this, and now it seems like you guys got there. Does that make it more special in a sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think how we got here was done the right way across the board through the whole organization, and it's always a little bit more rewarding when you do it that way. Everyone's been honest with me from the start, and that's all you can ask for. And I in turn do the same thing, and we just trust each other, and it's worked out because of our pure actions.
J-Dub, did you also get a birthday celebration in the locker room?
I think the win was enough. That was cool.
You don't have like birthday protocols.
Oh, I mean, the Rooks sang.
Yeah.
And they were all here, so that was nice. Like everybody, some have kind of been splitting with the G and stuff, but they were all here today, so it was bad. The singing was bad, but they sang.
Chet, 5 straight wins to end the season to secure the number 1 seed in the West. Just how did you feel about the way that you guys ended this season together?
I feel like we did a great job of running through the finish line, sticking together, and continue to improve and work on what we needed to work on. That ended in 5 straight wins, which is great, but we got to keep it going.
82 down. How's it feel?
Exhausting, but it'll be refreshing to kind of be able to stay in OKC this week and kind of get my legs under me and practice and get a good rhythm going into the playoffs. It wasn't easy playing all 82. It's definitely some playing through certain things, but I'm happy I was out there every night.
Chet, now that you've done it, do you imagine that it'll be maybe not a goal, but something you try to do every season moving forward? Like, will you change your approach? Like, what does that look like?
I mean, I'm not even going to start to look that far forward or, have that long term of goals. Right now I'm just focused on what's in front of me, taking it day by day, and I feel like I'm going to do that every year. I'm going to wake up every day wanting to hoop, and, that'll put me in a good spot no matter what happens. Yeah,
and you guys are now the youngest team to ever secure a number 1 seed. I mean, we talked all year about just the chemistry, the AAU team-like vibe around this team. I just wonder now that it's kind of solidified, what does that mean to you to be kind of the face of where, like, youth and success intersects in this league?
I mean, it's always great to have kind of a marker for all the hard work that we've been putting in. That's a kind of result of everything that we've put into it. But we understand it doesn't, end there. That wasn't our end goal coming into the season. So, we got to kind of keep our sight on where we're trying to go.
And now, obviously, you have to wait till the end of the week to even know who you're playing. Just what is that? Like, what goes through your head when you think that?
I mean, we're going to show up to practice and focus on ourselves like we would do even if we knew who we were playing, focus on what we got to get better at, where we can improve, and then when we do know who we're going to play, we'll be able to game prep for them specifically and what they're trying to do and, try to counter some of those things. And, it shouldn't be any different than kind of the process that we've had going up to this point.
Chet, a lot of guys have talked about how it's hard in your rookie year to play all 82 and you hit some wall and you're not really prepared for it, the most games that you've played really in your life. How have you gone about getting prepared for this stretch and navigating it in this first year?
I mean, obviously I had a lot of people behind me helping me get ready for this season, from the people in my life who've always been in my life, family, friends, etc. But also the medical team here, the coaching staff, everybody was behind me, helping me prepare for this. When you start a season, there's so many things that could happen that can get in the way of playing every game, so you can't really focus on it too much. But, I just try to, put together a process of preparation that gives me the best chance to be prepared every single night that we have a game. I feel like it can still be better. I can still be, in better shape, my body more prepared, etc. Going forward. But, I feel like I did as good of a job as I could with the knowledge that I had and the experience that I had coming into the season to kind of prepare me for each game. The toughest ones are those back-to-backs for sure. It's tough to kind of recover and be ready in time for a game the next day. But, I was going to drag myself out there if I could. So.
Hey, Chet, you talked about the fact that you're focused on what happens next, but was there a point today at all where you guys celebrated what you accomplished, whether watching those games finish behind you and realize the one secured, anything like that?
I mean, yeah, we got these little shirts, and we took a team picture in the locker room. So
what about today for you is celebratory? What are you most proud of? Mark said he
I
told
wouldn't
you guys
say
that.
I wouldn't say celebratory so much as just kind of recognizing the fruition of all the hard work that we've been putting in. You know, we're not in the position we're in by accident. You know, there was a lot of dedication and hard work that went into it, but we're not celebrating because you know, like what we're trying to do. We're not there yet, so you know, we're still eyes on the prize. You know, locked in. You know, continue to go forward.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Steve.
Chet, just 1 year ago today, you guys lost in the play-in game at Minnesota. Now, 1 year later, how does it feel to be in this position?
A lot better for a lot of reasons. I mean, I didn't play last season, and then you know, sitting there watching and feeling like you can't really do anything to try and help your team. And then, you know, we weren't fortunate enough to be able to win that game. And now to be in a position where, you know, we're guaranteed a playoff spot is huge. You know, there's not a lot of guarantees in the NBA, so to say that you have a guarantee is huge. But, you know, we're not looking at that and taking our foot off the gas at all. You know we have a long ways to go, a lot of hard work to put in.
Chet, what do you feel like you learned about the league this season? What did you learn about your game over 82?
I learned that there's a lot of hypocrisy. How do you say that? Hypocrisy. I dropped out, guys. Hypocrisy in the way things are looked at. It's like, you know, you sit out of a game, and it's like they're getting paid all this money to play basketball, and they won't even go out there and just play basketball. And then it's like back to back, you just played 5 and 7 days, your ankle hurts, you go out there, you put up a dud, now it's you sold my parlay, you suck, da-da-da-da. It's like, what do you want? Do you want me to fight through and play, or do you want me to sit and rest out so that, you know, I'm not breaking all parlays, you know? Like, it's, you know, just kind of learn that's how it goes. You know, people don't see what you're going through. They just kind of see the results. They just care about, you know, us winning games and, you know, performing. It's somewhat dehumanizing, but that's, you know, part of it. You know, I've kind of learned that. And, you know, I don't look at it in a negative way. You know, I've just kind of tried to learn from it and roll with it.
Last one, Michael. You have one?
Yep. Chet, this season, Mark and your teammates have all really praised your competitive spirit and just your approach to the games. Going to the playoffs where the games are really going to be high level, super competitive and physical, how excited are you for sort of that bigger stage?
Extremely excited. I mean, the regular season is huge. You can't overlook it. But, you know, you don't play the 82 games and hope that you're done after the 82 games. You know, you hope for this stage, you hope for this opportunity, and, you know, nobody in our locker room's taking it lightly. We all know how much of an opportunity it is and how big it is for us, for the team, the organization, the coaches, the owners, the city, the fans. You know, we know how much it means to everybody, and it means a lot to us. So, you know, we're trying to make the most of it.
Mark, you guys, as you say, sprinted through the finish line of the season here. Would you like best from the way you guys got a full team effort today in a bit of a strange situation?
Yeah, similar to what I've said all week. I thought we just had a very serious, business-like approach today. Played the right way, really the whole 48 minutes, both ends of the floor, everybody that touched the floor, great team win, and a great way to finish the year.
Mark, I imagine you've been around long enough to know how competitive this West race has been just relative to history. I just wonder, now that you've secured the 1 seed, what it means to be part of this team and do this during a year that's just all-time competitive in the West.
Yeah, the West was great this year. I just told the team they should be incredibly proud. To win a division is really, really difficult, and it was this team's first opportunity to make our mark on the organization, and these guys have worked really hard. They've done it together. They've embodied, you know, really everything we want to be about in the process. And so it's not just the fact that we accomplished that, but it was the way we accomplished it. You know, it gives us something that we can build on moving forward and something that our fans and the city can really relate to. So the guys should be incredibly proud.
It doesn't mean anything, especially considering, you know, where you guys were a season ago, just how quick this thing happened?
No, I mean every year is its own year, and this team's its own team, and it was a tough year. It was a hard year, and these guys persevered through the ups and downs, continue to get better, and like I said, competed together, and that's how they accomplished this. So, just an incredible pride.
Yeah, Cliff Brown, Associated Press. Winning the number 1 seed, obviously significant, but you were able to do so while resting Shai for 6 games late in the season. Can you talk about the significance of not only being able to rest him and get him to 100%, but also being able to get the top seed?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't rest. He was hurt, and same with Dub. Like we weren't – the only rest we did was Lou the other night in the San Antonio game. Yeah, I mean, we were conservative, about getting guys healthy and stuff like that. We're always going to take that approach. That's the approach we took tonight coming out of halftime. But, yeah, I mean, it's a great accomplishment for the team. And we're going into the playoffs pretty much intact, physically, a couple of bumps and bruises, but everybody's available. So that's also a win.
I have not seen you weigh in on the MVP discussion. Would you like to?
I'm not – I have great respect for everybody. I'm not a voter. I don't study all the players. I do see one of them every single night. There is not a night where I don't feel like we have the best player on the floor. We're a top 5 defense, top 5 offense. He's a 2-end player that contributes to both of those things. And I think, his consistency, his poise, his confidence has had an unbelievable contagious effect on one of the youngest teams in the league, one of the youngest teams in history to accomplish what this team accomplished. It takes 18 guys to do that. 18 guys contributed to that. But when you look at what he did this year, what seeds he's planted in previous years, there's no one I'd rather have on our team than him.
Just like with the Athletic, you guys won in a really tough West. You guys are number 1 in the West, but you guys are also the youngest team in the West, the youngest team to win a divisional title. How does this team basically defy its age this season? How did you see them defy their age?
It's the people, and I've said that all along throughout the course of the season. I just talked about Shai, obviously, but Sam, his group, they've done an incredible job of identifying people that we wanted to build around from a character standpoint and from a professionalism standpoint and a competitive standpoint. That's what's built a really strong foundation for us, is the people that we've allowed in the door, not just the guys that are on the team now, the guys in previous seasons, and the competitive character of this team, I think, is the reason that can happen. I've used the word uncommon all year. They have an uncommon professionalism, an uncommon competitiveness, uncommon willingness to buy into the team, despite a lot of high stakes for them individually. And they're all very ambitious, and they've been an uncommon team. And they deserve a ton of credit for what we've accomplished here.
And how do you see that carrying over to the postseason? A lot of people, when they talk about the Thunder, they mention the age and maybe not being ready, and that you guys might be one of the preferred top seeds for other teams. What's your response to that?
Yeah, I mean, don't feel the need to defend it. One thing's true: the postseason. After when we wake up, Tuesday morning, tomorrow's off. We're 0-0, truly 0-0. It's a new season, and everything everybody did in the regular season no longer matters, other than home court and seeding. And it's a completely new year. We understand that. We have great respect for all the teams that have made the playoffs in the West. It's a historic West this year. But we also have a lot of confidence because we stick together, we do it together, we compete together. And so we'll go into it with those two things: great respect for our opponent, great confidence in ourselves.
Mark, you mentioned obviously the people. You've highlighted that all year, and just being able to defy, I guess, this whole perception about age. But just, I know you talked about Sam kind of, being the bodyguard at the door, just kind of like checking who's of that ilk. But like, how fortunate are you to be able to take on that kind of group in a league where egos exist and things like that?
I mean, it's been a privilege to coach here, every single day. Somebody asked me about this pregame, about, how this year feels. I've been grateful every single day I've worked here, and dating back to when I was the G League coach here. It's a great organization. I get to work with great coworkers, and every player that comes through the door is, tremendous professional, great talent, competitive, and together. And, I credit Sam for that in terms of who we bring in the door. But then these guys, once they're here, they hit the ground, in terms of how they work, in between the games and how they compete in the games and how they compete inside the team. And so, again, very humbled. It's a privilege to be here.
You said something before the game that I was just curious about. When Joe asked you about expectations, you said something like, with expectations, you either let yourself down or surprise yourself. And the way you frame it, I just wonder, do you see those as, harmful outcomes? Because both of those can be viewed as, helpful instances, no?
It's just about being really present. It's about being really present. We try to be a very present team. I try to set a very present tone. You don't go into the year with if you say our goal is to win X amount of games, those are artificial ceilings that you're putting on yourself, and they're also assumptions. You can't go into the year saying we're going to do X, Y, or Z, because you could exceed X, Y, or Z, or you could be taking X, Y, or Z for granted. The best thing to do is be your best every day and stack the days, as we talked about all along.
This team had 2 rookies play all 82 games, and we always talk about the rookie wall during everyone's rookie season. How have you seen those 2 guys navigate this season?
Yeah, they deserve a lot of credit for that. It takes a lot of mental, physical toughness. It takes luck. Chet missed last season because of luck, and so there's a little bit of luck involved, but they and everybody else on the team tilts luck in their favor with the way that they prepare and with the way that they take care of themselves, the professionalism, the consistency of their routine, from top to bottom. The guys do a great job with that and give ourselves the best chance to be healthy and to be fresh and to optimally perform.
Hey, Mark, in the playoffs, adjustment becomes such a big key for teams, coaching and playing. What do you like about the group that you've got around you in terms of being able to adjust? And obviously this will be a first for a lot of these guys playing-wise going through that, but do you sort of have a sense of just what sort of gives them a chance to be able to handle that well?
That's what we've done, all along. We've kept things very fluid tactically. We've kept things very fluid from a personnel standpoint in terms of lineups, rotations, that sort of thing. We've tried to put guys in a lot of different situations because we think that's the best way for the team to develop. And we also thought that would give us a competitive advantage if and when we were to get to the postseason because of exactly what we're saying. So, I have, again, supreme confidence in our team, and how prepared we are walking into this week. And I also have supreme respect for any opponent that we'll play.
Were there any instances in particular in terms of adjusting that you sort of stand out to you that you thought might be tricky for the guys to navigate and they did really well? Anything in that regard stand out?
A lot of it has been the defenses that we've seen throughout the course of the season. We got off to a smoking hot start offensively, and that's caused teams to kind of throw different things at us. And so we've seen teams really try to take Shai out with aggressive double teams early in possessions, after pick and rolls. We've seen cross matching, we've seen plugging, we've seen zone, multiple types of zones. And because of that, and we've struggled through those things. I mean, we didn't always handle all those things optimally, but we've seen them a lot now. And so we've developed a collective understanding of how we want to attack things. It's forced us to adapt. And then there's been other situations where we've forced ourselves to adapt, by putting ourselves in those positions. So again, I feel like we have a very prepared team heading into this.
Mark, I know in pregame you were asked about sort of the matchups and sort of having to wait with the play-in and all that. How do you sort of balance getting the guys the extra rest? I think last game you mentioned Chet needing some of that after the extended road trip while also staying as sharp as possible going into the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to prioritize rest over anything else. They're going to get at least a day and a half here totally off their feet. And then a lighter day on Tuesday, and then we'll start to ramp up a little bit Wednesday, Thursday, and then, descend the week going into the playoffs. So I think we have a good plan. We've been working on it for a while. We knew that we were going to have a lot of time off as soon as we clinched, and now we'll go and execute that and hopefully put our guys in a great position.
And then you hear with players that there's a different approach to the playoffs, different level of physicality. Just as a coach, is there any different level of preparation on your end compared to the regular season?
I think the biggest difference is just in the regular season, you're playing different in 7-game stretches. You're playing a different opponent every single night almost, and in the playoffs, you're repeating the same opponent. So what happens in a previous game impacts what happens in the next game and the next game, and the series unfolds in a certain way, and that's the biggest difference, from a coaching standpoint.
We've heard a lot about how having a young team can be a negative in the playoffs. Can you just kind of elaborate on how it can be a positive for you guys?
I mean, I don't care how old we are, young, old. The advantage we have is the way that our guys compete and the way they do it together, and how committed they are to doing that. So it's not an advantage or disadvantage. It's really about how your team performs, and we have to go do it now. We're 0-0 when we wake up tomorrow morning for the playoffs. So what we've accomplished to this point, doesn't impact that. But I do think we've built great habits, and we've done it together. And again, I have a lot of confidence, but not because of our age or not our age, because of how the guys have performed and the things they've built together.
You guys are obviously very professional, but how excited are you guys just to be in the postseason, as a team?
Really excited. It's something you can't take for granted. It's a privilege. It's the highest level of competition. It's extremely difficult. It's extremely uncomfortable, but it's the pinnacle of competition in our sport. So it's a privilege to do it. Nothing's guaranteed in any year. So to be a postseason team, to be a 1 seed, we don't take that for granted at all. We're incredibly excited, and now it's just a matter of letting it rip with that opportunity.
And you're the favorite for Coach of the Year this season. What would it mean to you to win Coach of the Year?
I'm not going to comment on it right now.